let's take a look at my crypto alerts, the little alerts that I have on various crypto that I've been watching for a long time. And if they hit those alerts, I'm going to be considering getting in a half decent way for a little decent run up to the next general crypto zone. Okay, let's take a look at that. Let's share the screen. I just shared the screen for my subscribers of the general altcoin market, a potential left shoulder, head, and a right shoulder playing out right there. Let me get rid of all that. So if this plays out, and if there's my alert on general crypto, okay, that's at around about $250 billion. So I've got my alert set there. It's crossing at 247 billion. If that does that, then you are looking at a decent move, about 25% up into the next zone of resistance. And the zone of resistance is here because you've got a bunch of trapped money, all these buyers who stepped in, and they're still holding some bags. Okay, so I would expect some resistance in this area right here. Cool. That's where I would be expecting it. No, sorry, not there. In between. My apologies. Let me do that again. Not that zone. I will remove that. It's actually in this zone right here, but I'm expecting it right there. So at that level, at around about 315 billion. That's a 25% move once we crack that 247 billion. Does that mean the crypto that I'd be getting into will only be going up 25%? No, because they're individual crypto. You take more risk, you get more reward. Okay, so let's take a look at a few at that I am looking at getting in. One of them would be, I do like Gala. Okay, so I do have an alert on Gala at the moment. Look into Gala, what it is, what it does. If Gala continues to go up, this is Gala versus Bitcoin. Let me just show you the Gala versus the Gala price itself. Right here, this is the Gala price. We are forming a similar potential pattern right here, just like the crypto market in general. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. It can come anywhere down to that sort of 0.015 cent mark. If it cracks above around about 0.017, 0.018, I will consider getting into there. Technically, I think I have to raise that to the spike, and I'll do that. Give me 1 second. No, I don't want to do you. I want to do that. I'm going to raise that for a second. That's going to be actually probably about there. Yeah, I get it. I'll do it anyway. Cool. Right there. Very good potential move. So where could that potentially move up to with Gala? I would take it from this high and this low. So let's look at that. This doesn't mean that crypto would be going absolutely huge guns forever. Okay, it just means there's a potential trade there. Okay, so as an investor, maybe not. As a trader, yes. And you'd be looking at a decent move up into this area right here, I would be expecting, because that's where the other trapped money is. Okay, so that's in this zone here. And let me show you. Right into this zone here, I would be expecting potentially, again, from this high and this low. And then there's a couple of areas I'd be watching out for. I would be watching out for the 2.5 cent mark because that's a clear area of major resistance. And then you've got some buyers here. So along the way, I would suggest 2.5 cents. And that also lines up with, it's a weird downtrend line, but it does align with this downtrend line here for Gala. On that one there. I haven't put it through there. I've put it through there. Should I do that? Why would I do that? Maybe I do need to move that. Give me 1 second. Don't you love it when I just move my stuff on the fly? Yeah, I don't know if that's so valid anymore. So I think that's probably more so valid. Yeah, I'm going to say that's valid. So screw that one that I just had. Ignore that downtrend line. That's just more so the downtrend line. Now, why would I keep it there? You wouldn't. You would keep it there. So definitely I would imagine up into that zone. Just watch out for a bit of buying around here. Okay, but I think there's a good potential move for, as I said, if crypto breaks here, breaks its horizontal line, its alert line, you could see a 25% move in general crypto. But from here, for Gala, for example, that's a nearly 80% move. Okay, you've got a bunch of buyers up here, and that's where you'd see the most action happening on Gala. Right in there. See all those buyers in there? That's where at the top end, at the bottom end of this area here. So that's at around about 3.3 cents. Okay, watch out for 3.3 cents. That's a potential 80% move. Okay, again, if crypto breaks out of its area that we need to see a breakout of, I'm watching Gala specifically. Okay, now what you need to also do though, very clearly, is you need to match it against Bitcoin as well. So Gala was in US dollars there. Now you look at Gala versus Bitcoin. Gala versus Bitcoin isn't looking as strong, to be honest. You could still make some nice little gains with Gala in its USD price, but against Bitcoin itself, it's not as strong. Okay, you can see it's actually at a key support level right here, which you don't want to see broken. So that would just be a double confirmation. If Gala broke there, that's good to see, and you'd probably see some kind of pump. Now, would you see a pump all the way 80% up to that zone here? Possibly not, okay? I wouldn't give credence to that if it doesn't break out on the Gala to Bitcoin ratio as well. If it does that, so you've got confluence, you've got a breaking in the USD price, and you've got a breaking in the versus BTC price, and that's currently right here. Okay, that's my alert at blah, 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 0002. Okay, you break that, that's go time. All right, that's very positive. That's breaking its market structure. That means very likely that you head that sort of 80% kind of move. Take some profits along the way, of course. Okay, so that's Gala. I'm also looking at the graph. The graph is doing exactly the same thing as Gala. Similar thing, left shoulder, head, potential right shoulder. You could come all the way down to, let's see, I'll give it down to right here. Oh, there you go, right where I drew that arc. So that's around about 8 cents, okay? We'll give it to 8 cents, no problem. You can sweep the 8 cents. That's actually quite perfect. It would set up the perfect inverse head and shoulders. And then we break that alert level right there. That also happens to coincide roughly with this uptrend line. You break there, dang man, and I already had this drawn in because I did all these beforehand. That's not as high as a move, but you've got up into the zag zone right here. You've got, around about a 60% move. But where are all the buyers sitting? All the buyers are sitting here at the 0.5 level. So you've actually got a move probably. Nope. I want you. That's actually somewhere between a 60 to 90% move in the graph as well. I know this is looking very detailed, okay, but that's what I'm looking at here. That would be a bullish change of market structure on the macro time frame. If we clear 15 cents, well, if you get up to that zone here, you might consider maybe selling half, taking some profits, and then just watching what happens. And if it closes back down below about 15 cents, maybe take the rest of your profits, okay? But if this closes above, for me, that is, if it starts closing above about 11 cents for GRT, I am back in for a period of time. So that's Gala. I was also looking at, was I looking at Hype? No, I was not looking at Hype. Was I looking at Hbar? Yeah, I would be back in probably Hbar. Yeah, look, if Hbar broke here, then I'd be back in, and then I'd be looking at a level of, what's that, the 0.382? Is that from the high and the low? Yes, it is. So then I'd be looking for a move anywhere into here. And you can see very clearly where is the major buying happening. That's around about the 0.5 Fibonacci, okay? The Fib 500, roughly. So you could call that. Hbar would be one I'd be back in. If we clear 20, oh, I'm getting an alert. Go away. Right there. You're talking about a roughly, it's not a huge move. That's about a 25-30% move. Not from here, from the breakout point. Okay, you know what? Hbar, yeah, you could get some good moves, but not as good as, say, with the graph or with Gala. Were there any others? Let me just check one of my other favorites, Alchemy Pay. Yeah, I would say, oh, you know what? Yeah, Alchemy Pay, ACH. I'm going to call it. If it breaks above, I'm going to put it here. Right there. We're going to call it, yeah, that's 3 cents. It's right there. If we break 3 cents, I would say we are moving onwards and upwards to probably the zag zone. That is between I'm going to take it from this high and this low. So ignore me for a second. Going to get rid of all of you. Alchemy Pay is one of my favorites from a fundamental perspective. Let me hide you. So this is Alchemy Pay. Look into it. ACH is the ticker. And I'll get rid of all these trend lines and get rid of all that junk. Yeah, the rectangle. Don't need any of you. Okay. Dirt. Cool, let's do that. So potential left shoulder, head, potential right shoulder can come down anywhere down to about 2.2 cents. No problem, that's fine. If you start breaking above 3 cents right here, then we'll talk about some potential higher prices. Is it worth it though? Let me just take it from here to here. Yeah, that's not a huge gain, okay? Not a huge gain. You would have to take it back from the previous all-time high and see, is that a thing, okay? From there to the... no. I would say Alchemy Pay maybe, but again, not as good gains as with the Graph and Gala. And were there any others? I'm sure there's others. Let's see. Oh, I did have Pepe. Yes. Also, a couple of meme coins. Okay, well, let's talk about meme coins for a quick minute. I would say if we do crack above here on Pepe, that is at whatever that price is, a bunch of zeros and 9.8, a bunch of zeros 9.9. I would look at potentially getting into Pepe, but what's the risk to reward? Let me see. Okay, if you crack above there, again, it's not huge. Oh, it's actually pretty decent. That's a 70% move, okay? Or that's up to the area of previous buying, where all the buying is happening. That's where you'll find the most resistance, where the trapped money is. That's actually a 70% move. So that's actually pretty decent in Pepe. So Pepe's on my radar for a 70% move if we crack through this alert level right there. And you also, again, don't get into any crypto. Don't get into, and I'm parroting other people here, but it's logic. Why would I not say it just because someone else said it? I've said it a million times before. You don't get into any individual stock if it's not beating the S&P 500. You don't get into any crypto if it's not beating Bitcoin. So that's why you need to check the Bitcoin ratio as well. So far, Pepe not so good against Bitcoin, okay? It needs to crack above here. So those would be your two things that you're looking for. Crack above that level at whatever that is, 9.8 something, and crack above on the Pepe to Bitcoin ratio at a whole bunch of zeros, 1, whatever that is, okay? You can pause this and look at that. It starts cracking above there. That's a good sign that this is going to have a great move. And there you're looking at a 70% move up. So there's a potential. These are all potentials at the moment. Nothing is guaranteed. These could just, tank from there. And was there anything else? Render. Would I say the same for render? Render, you have a potential move. That's about 40%. So maybe no. I mean, there's others. And here's the other one I wanted to look at. Yes, I wanted to show you unloved. Here's some unloved meme coins, right? Dogwifhat. Remember that? Remember Dogwifhat? That was a huge sensation. Check that out. Okay, so you have, it looks like it broke its market structure. It's currently... it's in a little bit of a mini uptrend, okay, and you've got all this trapped money up here, okay, so I would say if this breaks, and I couldn't put an alert on it for some reason, but if it breaks here at 70 cents, I would be looking to get in. So from around about here up into trapped money, I'm looking at it. It depends how big the move is. Yeah. 88 miles per hour, okay, Back to the Future style, that's a 90% move. And look, between here and here, where is the trapped money? There is no trapped money between here and here. So if you close above roughly 72, 73 cents, that's game on, okay? That's an 80, 90% move up into here. You will absolutely 100% see big resistance around about here, okay? So I'd be looking at taking some profits there. Probably not the entire thing, because you could certainly fly through it, okay? You might get up into this area here. You've got a couple of areas of trapped money. One is here at the, that's actually at the 0.236. That's interesting. Yeah, I would definitely say watch out for the trapped money right there. 90% gain. Would you like that? Sure. Watch it close above 73 cents and watch it rocket up to about $1.40. Okay, that's my humble non-financial advice opinion. I would be watching Dogwifhat, and again, you need to see it really for confluence close above its Bitcoin pairing. Okay, and that's at around about 762. Whatever that means for you, add a whole bunch of zeros. Here's the thing: there's a larger potential to increase your Bitcoin holdings. Okay, you should really be following every crypto that you have, follow it, or you're looking at, follow it versus Bitcoin. There's a potential here for a 200% move. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen in the dollar price. I'm saying there's a potential for it maybe later on down the track. I would suggest around about here at the 402 area, okay? A 200%. Imagine buying Bitcoin around about here, buying WIF around about here, random meme coin, and it goes 200%. You've more than doubled your Bitcoin in your hand, okay? Just like you pay the gold to silver ratio, you buy silver to hopefully swap it for gold later on down the track. Most of you would be doing that, at least some portion. Hey, if you get a beautiful move in WIF, if we get over those areas we need to, hey, why not even just take some profits here? Gee, what do you know? The Fibonacci from this high and this low at the 0.236, that's exactly at 100%. Okay, so around about there, take some profits, put it into Bitcoin maybe. You do you, but that is WIF against Bitcoin, and I don't have anything else I want to have a look at. So those are all the cryptos that I'm currently looking at. They are the alerts I have on. They are the ones that are going to potentially, unless I hear much more from you guys, you give me some great tips, etc. I read some other news, etc. Focus on some other people who are talking about their own cryptos. Those are the ones I'm looking at, and if I find any more that have that potential kind of over 50%, over 60% kind of gains, if we get over those levels, I will let you know. But those are the ones I am looking at. Let's do some final comments, and we shall get out of here.